Hi guys, how you doing? My name's Tonna. Today I'd like to talk to you about something that crops up a lot in my teaching. It is about a concept of something versus a lick of something. So as you all know, licks are kind of quite fashionable on the internet. You know, some drummers played this particular thing on the intro of a song or in the middle of his solo, and someone's worked it out and shown you the sticking. And you know, it could take you a couple of hours, or depending even that, maybe even a few more days to work it out, to get it to the speed that that drummer's done. And unfortunately, the time that you spent to do that, you could be doing a lot more things conceptually, so you understand what that person's done yourself. So, and sometimes, unfortunately, that thing is just that one thing. That's all it is, and it might crop up in your playing, or it might not crop up. It feels good to do it, as most of you all do, because it's something that one of your favorite drummers has done. So you feel like, wow, I can do something that whoever is that can do that particular thing. My question's always been about these subjects is, where did they get that stuff from? How did they just come out with it? So if you ask yourself this question, unfortunately, it means you need to go a little bit deeper with things, which is where concepts come involved. So concept means that you need to be able to do more than one version of the sticking or the hand-foot coordination, whatever it is that you're practicing, so that then you can see how they all fit together in different ways. And then the problem is to join it all up. How do you join things up? One classic problem is rudiments. People do all their rudiments, but I never hear people that often know how to join stuff up. It's always just this paradiddle or this particular thing or that thing, and it doesn't go any further than what it is. So you need to ask yourself, how do I join stuff up to get the concept of it so that you got multiple ideas out of doing things? So today's subject I want to talk about is something that you may have come across. It's called flat flams. Some people call them double stops, and some people also may use the word unison figures or just unison notes. So we all know a flam is left hand first, right hand last, grace note, accented note, or the other way around. But we're going to deal with just basically right hand unisons or right hand double stops. So it should sound like that when you play a normal flam. But most of my students, when they learn flams, they play them badly, which is what you want really. So you play both at the same time. It's kind of like a blip, blip, blip sound on the pad. So it's basically that concept, but onto the drum somehow. So, okay, let's get to it. Okay, so moving on from that idea of playing double stops, flams, flat flams, what we're going to do, we're going to play the concept behind the whole thing really is a first half of a paradiddle. There's many ways to utilize this in your playing, but this is quite a nice, easy one to, well, not relatively easy, but it's quite a nice, straightforward one to understand, I should say. So right, left, right with your paradiddle. Right, left, right. I'm accenting the first note, but we're going to flam the first half of it. So we could say flam paradiddle, but just the first half. Right, left, right. Flam, left, right. Flam, left, right. So that flam that you've just played, we are now going to play that as a unison. So, and we're going to accent that double at the beginning, that first note. So both left, right. Both left, right. Both left, right. Both left, right. So this way your right hand's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The left hand's going to play the second half of your double strokes, right, left. So already we've got some problems going on, that your left hand's going to play double strokes with an accent at the beginning and then a quiet note afterwards. And your right hand's going to play 3 notes in a row, and the first 2 grace notes, and then the last one, which is a loud one. So hopefully some of you guys are, you're utilizing things like molar technique, up, down, push, pull, whatever it is that you come up with that you use for your own particular technique. So the problem is trying to get 2 quiet notes with an accent at the end. If you play everything all with the right hand with the wrist, you're not going to get any speed or any flow out of this thing. So it's trying to keep those 2 notes quiet. So using this kind of up-down technique, up-down. And you can see my right hand, the 2 notes is down here all the whole time. And the accent's coming up here. So this is the mechanics of it, and this is the core of what we're going to do. So one more time, so both hands together, left hand, and then right. So with a click, it will sound like this. that's the whole concept of everything. But obviously we need to get involved in it a bit more deeper than this. Okay, right, next one coming up. Okay, so the second one coming up is the same sticking, but we're just going to shift everything over to the E count. So instead of doing right, left, right, right, which we did our flam at the beginning, flam, left, right, right, that whole thing is going to start on the E count now. So the sticking will be, you'll see it coming up on the screen. So we'll do it with the flam first. So right, flam, left, right, right, flam, left, right, right, flam, left, right. So the accent's on the E count. So it'll sound like this. That's with the flam. Now without. So you can hear that the snare drum is staying 16th notes all the time, which is what we're trying to do with this concept. So keep everything at 16th notes flat, and then everything will be accented on the drums. But you won't lose this flow as you do normally when you do accents on different sounds. Your right hand and your left hand, it comes off the snare, so you lose that flow of 16th note, which is why this is so good. Okay, third one coming up. Okay, so next one's coming up. It's going to be the accents on the and counts. So this time the three notes are going to start at the beginning, one E and we're going to flam the last note. One E and then the left hand will finish that. One E and one E and one and So with a click, flam. Okay, next one's coming up. It's going to be the last of the 3 16th notes. So it's going to be on the but the three notes that we're going to play this time with the right hand are going to start on the E count. So they're starting on the second of that partial. So it's going to start left-handed, left, right, right, flam, one E and one E and So with the click, I'll do it with the flam first. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the next one coming up out of these components of things is going to be accents all on the downbeats, all on the 8th notes. So 1 and 2 and. So your right hand will end up doing this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. None of that pumping thing anymore. But the left hand is going to do all the work this time. So your left hand is going to basically play constant 16th notes. But with the flam, it will sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But when we unison the notes, when we double stop them, where left hand's going to start playing this pump, it's going to change slightly with the rhythm. So you'll get. You can see the left hand accenting with the right hand at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. So up to speed. 1, 2, 3. So with the click. So with the flam, it will sound like this. Now with the unison. Okay, so next one coming up will be the E's and the U's. So all the right hands will be doing the E's, upbeat 16th notes. 1 E, 2 E, 2 E, and the left hand will do the similar thing that it did before, but it will be accenting all the upbeat 16th notes. And flattened out. It's quite a hard one because you're doing this reverse pump. Instead of doing downbeats, it's opposite of that. So this is where it helps you to have some sort of molar technique or some sort of push down technique, push and pull technique. So with a click, we'll do it with the flams and then we'll go to the unisons. Okay, so next one coming up, it's getting a bit trickier now. So we're not just doing one accent, not one flat and flam. We're starting to get into two now in a row. So this is going to be the first and the last of the 16th notes. So normally this sounds like a patafla-fla, for some of you might know this, but the difference is that both the flams are going to be with the right hand. It's not going to be right and then left as it would be if it was single stroke sticking. So it would sound like flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, 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 left, right, right, right. So you're still getting three notes, but it's again shifted around a bit. So with a click, it will sound like this. So it's a bit trickier because you're trying to get two notes at the same time, accented. So it's quite a good pull out for the left hand. Last one we'll deal with is very common that you all heard of, and this is what most people play as this sort of idea as the lick. So it's just basically a dotted eighth note rhythm, and the sticking we'll use is the same as you're going to be doing if you were doing a flam accent. Flam accents are generally swapping from right to left, flam, left, right, flam, right, left. But we're just going to take the first half of it, so flam, left, right, and we're just going to keep repeating that. So that will be a 3/4 measure really, or 3 beat measure, but it will be that dotted eighth note that you've all heard. As soon as you hear it, you'll know what it is. So I'll do it with the click, and you'll see the thing going across the beat, and then we'll put it onto the rim as well, so you can hear that 4 against 3 rhythm. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if you've worked through all these 8 patterns, these 8 stickings, the problem is obviously now to start joining things together. This is now when we're getting slowly into this conceptual idea. When you do try to join them together, you'll start seeing that you're going to end up doing 4 right hands in a row in some of the changes from one sticking to the other sticking. This is not going to work when we get this thing faster because it's very difficult to get the 4 rights in a row, and it's obviously going to depend on your technique and your chops. So there is a sticking alteration that we will do when we start getting into the next lesson. Will help you to get the speed up, but you need to work on each individual cell before we start working on the whole thing as a concept that we can start going in and out of things. So I'm just going to play all 8 for them for you with the click. See how it sounds with the flam first of all. Okay, and now on the kit with the accents on the cymbal and the snare with the bass drum at the same time, hi-hat, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So hopefully if you practice this, next time I see you, we'll talk about how to string all this stuff together. And it'll be quite effective on lots of different styles that we're going to get into as well. But try them individually first, just because you need to get the components of these things before we start looking at the whole thing. As I said, or some of them, like this one that you hear everyone doing, very common. A lot of people do that kind of thing, but it's just then that's become your lick. But you want to get a bit more, so you got a bit more variety and a bit more expansive ideas, so you can flow with this particular thing. Okay, great. Okay, so keep an eye out for part 2 of these videos, and when we can start talking about taking the whole thing around the drum kit, and then hopefully keep practicing, and I'll see you soon. Take care.